So here with James Hockley, Kent Women's head coach. James, you're back at Kent. Tell us how you've got here.
So yeah, it's been brilliant to come back. To be honest, I think it's been a bit of a journey, working through schools in the last sort of 15 years and come back into girls cricket in the last sort of 4 years, and it's something that's I've been quite passionate about with the coaching side, and then to be with the women this year is yeah, very proud to be involved with it.
And how did you get the call, as it were? How did you get involved with the Kent Women specifically?
So about 3 or 4 years ago, Dave Smith was obviously running the pathway at the time, and I was doing some coaching with him, and he got me involved in the girls' pathway, doing more batting stuff. And it just sort of bred from there, really, just doing little bits and bobs, and then just breeding into different roles within, almost becoming like a batting consultant within the pathway. And then last year, it became a bit more evident that I was with the under-18s and with the women's stuff, and it's led on to this. So yeah, it's been a great few years for me.
So you've worked with a few of the players already. How is the squad shaping up for the season?
Yeah, really good. It's difficult to tell. Obviously, been in the depths of winter and been in indoor schools for sort of 4 or 5 months. But from where we started from in November, having trials and then bringing through people from out of county, they've forged a really good group, and they've worked incredibly hard to get to this point. I think at the moment it's a case of right, we need to get outside. Basically, we need to get outside and do some stuff, and hopefully the weather keeps going the way it is at the minute, and we can get outside and get some proper training going. But they've worked incredibly hard, and I think hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll take the good training inside to good training outside, and then that translates into good fixtures in the summer.
You mentioned players from outside the county. Talk to us a little bit about how those came about.
Yeah, so we had open trials over the last sort of couple of weeks of October, November, which were open to everybody. Obviously, I saw a couple of players play against us last summer for Essex and Surrey. So I had a couple of conversations with those at the end of last season to find out what they were going to do, and earmarked a couple of them. And they were very undecided at the time, because I think the way that the women's game is now structured, it was a big change. So I think they were a bit undecided what to do, but thankfully they've come across to us and they've been a real strength to us. So yeah, we've incorporated probably half the squad is from out of county, with half the girls obviously from the county. So it's a nice blend, and it's been a real eye opener for me to try and blend the two together, out of county and county girls, to try and get them to play well together. And I think that will hopefully be good in the summer.
And just a word on the county girls. A lot of these girls have come through our pathway. How important do you think the pathway is in Tier 2? And do you think there's any players coming through that can challenge for a first team spot this year?
Yeah, I think the pathway has always been very important to women's side. I think last year we had a lot of the pathway girls playing some form of women's cricket. So it's always going to be important. If you look at the history of Kent pathway for the girls' side, it's always produced incredible players, some of which are playing for England. So it's always going to be a real benefit to have that pathway. I think there are certainly girls in the under-18 squad at the moment that are pushing, and which is really exciting, because luckily enough, part of my position here, I get to watch and work with a lot of the younger girls as well. So yeah, for the next sort of 5 or 6 years, there's going to be a good influx from the pathway. It's going to be quite exciting for them.
So just looking ahead to the season, our first home games against Derbyshire in April, how important is it to have a partisan crowd there and as many people coming in to watch Kent as possible? Yeah,
I think with the new structure of English women's cricket, for our girls, they're so excited the fact that they're going to be playing in front of crowds again, and Kent have been so good at the fact that we're playing at home grounds and main grounds. So it is incredibly important that we get as much support there as possible, because I think we're going to receive the same thing at other counties. So it's really important we have our Kent fans there to support us, and hopefully the girls will put on a good show.
And just a word on the double header in July. Do you think it's important for the men's and women's squads to sort of ingrain together and be one club?
I think it's really important. Yeah, I think you look at the model of the 100 of the last few years, where the women have played before the men, and they've travelled around together as a group. I think we're a bit away from that at the moment, but who knows, in years to come, that might be the same kind of situation we have. And I think if we can work as closely to the men as possible and use ideas and regimes and same staff, and I think it becomes one club. And I think, yeah, it's really exciting for our women.
And talking of men's players, Geraint Jones has come over as assistant coach to you. What's that been like working with him?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, Jonesy is a great lad. I've known him for a long time, and when he asked about doing this role, it was an absolute no-brainer, to be honest. He gives so much energy, so many ideas, and yeah, we all love him to bits. So it's been a real kudos really for us to get him involved with the women's game, and all the coaching staff. To be honest, the coaching staff we've got: Darren Scott, Andrew Tutt, Richard Durant, all of us doing it. We're really invested in the women's game, and it's been really, really good so far.
And finally, have you got any targets for this year for the playing group?
I think it's hard to set targets in a minute because it's such an unknown league. I think we've got performance stats that we're going to be sort of methods that we're going to be judging ourselves against, but that's for us to know. But it's hard to say we want to win League Two or Tier Two. I think we go out there to win every game of cricket we want to get, but actually when you don't know what kind of teams you're playing against, it's going to be difficult to sort of judge. So I think we go out there and play a good, exciting brand of cricket, and hopefully win quite a few games along the way.
Lovely. Good luck for the season.
Thank you very much.